Hey everyone, it's Ryan here. This is my predictions video for NXT Takeover 36. There is no particular reason I am wearing this top, no reason whatsoever. And I'm just going to take a quick drink of Pepsi, again, for no reason whatsoever. Refreshing. Anyway, all that CM Punk joke aside, like I said in a video last night, I was going to do this with the SummerSlam one, but I got really tired. I could feel my eyes going during the SummerSlam predictions. I thought I'd get this done now before I forget and before SummerSlam happens tonight. So, NXT TakeOver 36. There's a lot good to discuss about NXT, especially the past couple of months. Apparently, they are taking it in a completely different direction to what it is before. Apparently, it's going back to like a sort of developmental thing. Which NXT was started to like downgrade a bit when they moved it to 2 hours and actually put it on TV. It started to feel like a lighter version of Raw, especially that was on the same network. And then this report came out. Vince and all the higher ups are now having more control over NXT than Triple H has. And yeah, like I said, they're changing from what it is now to make it more of a developmental thing. It's going to be in the Performance Center. And yeah, I don't like. It's a weird thing to think because NXT, especially a couple of years ago, was a super amazing product. I think the second they moved it to 2 hours, it became a problem. If they kept it to the hour it was, I think it's really good. That's why some of the other shows they work so well is because they're nice and short and compact. I think NXT UK is really great because it's just a quick hour of wrestling, and the problem you see with 2 hour and 3 hour shows. I know like it's regular for Raw and SmackDown to be 2 hours, which is fine. I think AEW Dynamite is 2 hours. Again, that's fine, but the nice thing is they can sometimes balance promos and actual wrestling, but the problem with, especially in WWE, is they spend more time on promos than they do on the actual wrestling. Like I know it's more of an entertainment thing, and the matches are essentially sort of like segues between the chapters. And you can tell with 3 hours just how much they're trying to drag it out. And a lot of people are deteriorating from Raw because of it, but they're making loads of money because of it, and that's why it's staying 3 hours. Apparently, recent reports as well is NXT might be going back to its 2015 roots, like the early NXT, not like the weird talent show they did, but when they sort of started in 2015, when it became its own brand. So the days of you had Adrian Neville, like Corey Grayson was fine. You had Tyler Breeze, Tyson Kidd was down there, Cesaro, Bo Dallas, Big E Langston, Seth Rollins, all that stuff. And if it goes like that, I'm completely fine with that. That's the type of, like, if they say developmental, that's the type I want, where it's not become this sort of like, we're going to sign every indie star and make it this mega show. Like, I know that sort of got it to where it is now, but if they can sort of go back to making their own talents, then I think that's what NXT needs, and I'd look forward to that. From watching NXT, it's like I'd never heard of Seth Rollins before then. I'd never heard of Adrian Neville. I was obviously aware of like Tyson Kidd and Cesaro because they'd been on the main roster. I didn't know who Sami Zayn was. I didn't know who Kevin Owens was until I started watching that because like my main watching stuff was WWE. And then like I'd hear of all these other ones because obviously like more like Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground and all this other stuff was happening, and there's reports that they'll be signing to WWE essentially, and they go through NXT and do it that way. So if they can do more of their own talent, then I'm fine with that because that's sort of what AEW's half-ish doing. Like I know MJF's sort of their biggest example of like a star from within their thing. Like he's not had that previous like WWE experience and then come here and made it himself, because obviously they've had that with Jericho, Moxley, Brody Lee was one. I think it was nice enough they had some time away. Jake Hager's sort of in the inner circle, but like you got people like Guevara and Miro. Obviously, he sort of left from WWE as Rusev, then became Miro. It took a while, but now he's starting to develop himself. The Dark Order, it started off weird, but they're starting getting there now. Hangman Page, his whole thing is great. It's one of those things where it's like, yes, they've signed a lot of former WWE stars, and I'm normally before I've definitely been anti AEW doing that. Like, the thing that they still do, which does get annoying, is the constant digs at WWE, especially by their former stars. It's especially weird when people who've never been there do that. But that, like, I was fine with, like, when Moxley signed, I was fine. When Jericho was signed, I was fine, because it had been like 2 years of them being away from the company. They'd done stuff outside of the company, like New Japan, and like other stuff. Like, I don't really know too much. But then, like, when they literally they started to sign people straight from WWE to AEW, and like at this point now, I'm sort of like, I get it, it's just a job, like, it's just somewhere else. I'm not going to be one of these, like, oh, we want to jump over there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, a lot of them go to Impact, which is great. And what AEW is doing at the moment is, like, they're teaming with Impact, they're teaming with New Japan. Like, they're literally, essentially, they're like almost in a way, a new televised indie show, I guess. They emphasize the wrestling a lot. And, they're they're letting their superstars work in other companies, which is great. And a lot of the people they are signing that are like former WWE stuff, a lot of them, especially if they're older, they're more like coaches / developmental people. So like Big Show's in charge of Rampage. Mark Henry's sort of like a interviewer / commentator on Rampage. DDP and Arn Anderson are like they're sort of like coaches / managers for like Cody and Dustin and that lot. Like another sign as well, Lance Archer. I'm fine with Lance Archer. He hadn't been in WWE for several years. And, he went off and did his own thing, and now he's like Lance Archer, like the, I think he's called the Death Hawk or something. I can't remember. Like, it's one of those things I've not watched too much. Obviously now they've got CM Punk in it. Again, he's been away for 7 years, so I think it's fine. I think it's one of those things where it's more, not like I'm saying it's not acceptable if they just jump straight from one to the other, but it's more, I guess, like, sort of excusable or something. Like, you can't really criticize it too much if they go and do something else first and then jump to AEW. Like, they've got very, very exciting things coming up, especially with CM Punk coming back. Anyway, enough to ramble about that. This is meant to be an NXT predictions video, so that's what I'm going to do now. Let's go on to the predictions. There are 5 matches on the show. First match, which I personally think will be match of the weekend, especially if their last one's going to go by. The fact that they had that amazing and brutal of a match in front of no one, I can only imagine what the crowd is going to do here. So we've got Walter versus Ilya Dragunov in a rematch for the NXT UK Championship. Obviously, Walter's held the title for probably, 2 years now, I think. Dragunov finally earned his rematch. He feels like he's found this thing within himself that he needed, like this inner strength and this inner ruthlessness and, like, this warrior, whatever it was that he's calling it. But essentially, he feels like this is what he needs to be able to be Walter. He didn't have that before. He came close, but he just didn't have that within him. And now that he's found it, he now, feels like it's the right time to be Walter. And I've gone for Ilya Dragunov for this one. I think if you're going to have this amazing moment between the two of them in front of a crowd, Dragunov definitely needs to be Walter, because I can't see anyone else beating him. The story's right there, like, writes itself. If this goes for a good half an hour, I'm completely fine with that. It's going to be a great match, I think. Like I said, I think it's going to be a match of the weekend. Like, Roman versus John Cena at SummerSlam could be great story-wise. Edge versus Seth Rollins could be great story-wise as well, but I feel like this is going to have the story and the brutality to go with it. Next match, Karrion Kross versus Samoa Joe for the NXT Championship. So with this one, Samoa Joe sort of returned a couple of months ago as like some enforcer thing, sort of like Stone Cold in 2003, I believe it was. Whereas, like, you're not an active competitor and you can't attack someone unless provoked. It happens a couple of times with Adam Cole, and then now it's happened with Karrion Kross. So Karrion Kross has been going after William Regal, and then they've had this agreement where Samoa Joe's no longer an enforcer. He's now a active wrestler on NXT, and now he gets a title shot against Karrion Kross at TakeOver. I've got Samoa Joe to win. Karrion Kross is now on the main roster, so I feel like him losing the title will now transition him over. If anything's going by him on the main roster, it's probably going to take a year before anything good happens. We've just got to trudge through the rubbish that they're putting him through now. It's not been a great start. It sort of epitomises the whole NXT to WWE transition, which just does not work. And Karrion Kross just feels like a really big example of it not working. Like, I know it's only been like a month or so, but they really need to do something with him to make people actually care about him, because they've not done anything well at all. Next, we've got Raquel Gonzalez defending the NXT Women's Championship against Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai turned on Raquel Gonzalez by kicking her in the side, basically saying, "I'm no longer your sidekick, you wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for me." You know, the cliche, "this is why I did it" type thing. Raquel saying, well, you know, there's never going to be another Raquel Gonzalez, and you're never going to beat me. The only way you can beat me is with another Raquel Gonzalez, and like I said, I'm the only one, so you're not going to win. I've got Raquel to retain. I know, like with Dakota turning heel, that should indicate she should probably win, but I feel like they want to build Raquel as this strong champion. She's not really done much. Maybe there's going to be this whole story of she beats Dakota, and then maybe she can just like accept any challenge, and we could get all sorts of things. Again, it depends on what happens with NXT. Oops, whoops, my bad. I flung my arm down and I hit the laptop. Again, it all depends on what what happens to NXT after this show. And then next we've got LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes in a rematch for the $1 Million Championship. This time it's just a regular singles match, with the case being, if Cameron Grimes loses, Ted DiBiase must become Knight's butler as well. I've got Cameron Grimes to win this one. I feel like it'll be the feel-good moment, especially with the vignettes that's been going on. LA Knight pretty much treating Cameron like crap, especially during the matches. They've been really funny to watch, to be honest. Like, Grimes pretty much just taking the butler thing and feels like it's a dream job rather than a punishment, and LA Knight just like not having any of it. But yeah, I feel like this one, Cameron's going to win. It's going to be the feel-good moment of the night. Probably a good 10-15 minute match maybe. Yeah, should be a lot of fun. And then finally, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Basically to end the Cole and O'Reilly saga. The first one is a traditional wrestling match. The second one is a street fight, and the third one's a steel cage. So this is very reminiscent of the Stone Cold Triple H match from No Way Out 2001, where they had pretty much the same 3 stages as well: traditional wrestling, street fight, steel cage. I believe Triple H got himself intentionally disqualified in the first one, smacked Austin with a chair to then benefit him for the second one. Might do the same here. I think Cole might hit O'Reilly with a chair or a chain or something, cause disqualification, and then use that to benefit him in the second one. I've got Kyle O'Reilly to win. There's still talks about Adam Cole's contract, whether he signs a new NXT contract, whether he goes to the main roster, whether he leaves altogether. I feel like this will be the last stop for Adam Cole. Kyle O'Reilly will beat him, and then Adam Cole will probably be moved up to the main roster. Hopefully on SmackDown. I really don't want to see him on Raw, because it'll just be that he's a really small person. He'll be put against probably T-Bar and Mace and lose for 4 weeks, whereas I feel on SmackDown it would be nice to see him combine against certain superstars there. Maybe have a brief run against Roman Reigns at some point. Maybe him and Rey Mysterio could have a match. You've got him and the Street Profits. You've got, you could probably do Cole and Finn again. Don't know if that's a good idea. You could have Adam Cole and Edge. That'd be great to see. Adam Cole and Seth Rollins. There's so much potential on SmackDown, whereas I feel on Raw you won't really get much. Yeah, that's my predictions for NXT TakeOver 36. Ilya Dragunov, Samoa Joe, Raquel Gonzalez, Cameron Grimes, and Kyle O'Reilly. Thank you very much for watching this video. Apologies that I did speak about AEW/WWE quite a bit at the beginning, but I wanted to get my point across. But again, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you on Sunday for NXT TakeOver 36, and I'll see you tonight for SummerSlam.